good to see you, Anatu. So we wanted to check in with you as to how you're doing with RE-WilDing, A Journey Back to You, our signature program, a 6-month program that when you were told about it, you were like, so what about me? So we wanted to check in with you to see how you've been enjoying the program, but we can start with what made you want to sign up for the program? Let's start there.
The volume disappeared for some reason.
It's back. I got you. I can hear
Okay.
you.
So, yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
Okay, so we wanted to back up a little bit to find out what made you want to sign up for this program. What intrigued you about this program to want to commit to 6 months, right? It's not a short period of time. And every single week, each month for 6 months. So what made you want to do that?
First of all, I always believe there's always more work to be done. In the first place, I also believe that first of all, it was also because of you. So I believe in your abilities, anything you deliver. So I was very comfortable with doing something with you, and especially you understanding that I'm a leader as well. And so having that feeling and that belief and that I feel a sense of commitment to my journey for some reason with you, that you decided to do this for some reason. And I'm very touched by it. So I knew that there were areas in my life that still had not gelled together in terms of, especially the integration of my personal life, my work life, and my whatever, the different aspects of me. So I felt that was needed. And then the course looked very, very thorough. And I also thought maybe I have some hidden gifts that I don't even know about. So yeah. And so I was very interested and still am in terms of how far so much is hidden by trauma, and even things that are not hidden by trauma that we don't discover as much of ourselves, especially for Black people.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm losing your face. Your camera moved. There we go. Okay. We want to see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. So yes, I was very, very interested. I felt very safe and I was very curious, and yeah, I'm ready. Yes, that's the thing too. I was also ready for the ride and ready for the journey.
Okay, so I heard one that you trusted us because of your experience with us as an organization. I also heard that you trusted me as an individual, as the facilitator of this program and the one who designed the curriculum for this program. You also looked at the program and felt like you were going to see areas in which you could expand, not just as a leader, as an individual, integrating all the different facets of your extraordinary life and personality, and also hopefully through all of this to find some hidden gifts, right? As you unearth more of yourself. That's what I heard.
And yes, and also I forgot one thing, and also to see how it works and how in future and I will raise some funding jointly, we can do this and heal our people. And our women. Yeah.
More snaps. Heal
So
our
it was
people.
good for us to go on this journey together.
That is the mandate, to help heal our people, right? Because our focus, of course, is primarily Native, Indigenous people of color, women and children, right? Because we believe that when we heal the women, when we heal the children, we're healing, because women are catalysts for change, right? Women tend to be the ones that are benefiting not just their families, but their communities, right? And ultimately, they're the ones that spearhead teaching the children. So they're looking to teach the future generation. So when we help women to heal, we help children to heal. They'll teach their parents, right? So we can heal our ancestors as well as our progeny. Beautiful. Beautiful. Snap.
Is it possible to heal our ancestors?
What's that?
Is it possible to heal our ancestors?
Oh, question. Everybody listen up. Listen up. Okay, we indigenous people believe that when you heal yourself, you heal not just yourself, but 7 generations forward and 7 generations back.
I see.
Let's talk about that. The reason why we believe that is because when we heal ourselves, okay, and this is really important to understand, we have the capacity to then go back and correct things that the previous generation did, not just in the family, but in their community. We can fix the things they broke. We can heal the things they broke, whether it's relationships, families, communities, land. All of these things are benefited when we heal. We can heal everything around us, because when we start treating everything with gentle compassion and love and forgiveness and mercy and understanding, these are the qualities, and love, these are the things that heal everything. You can heal everything with those qualities, okay? And then when you heal yourself, then you teach differently, you act differently for the coming generations, you teach them how to live, all right? Make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, very good. Okay, so let's talk about the actual program itself, all right? When you started the program, we had a whole bunch of people who were interested. Many of those people didn't have the longevity, right, to continue with the program because they recognized that it involved work and time, things that they didn't anticipate, even though we tell them all these things up front, right? It's actual work. So talk to me about, let's talk about month 1. Month 1 was all about communication and building intimacy with yourself first and others. What was that like? All of those, we call it authentic relating skills. So you can start learning how to hold space with other people. You can start learning how to hold space for yourself, checking in with yourself before you respond to people, checking in with yourself with regard to boundaries and that kind of thing. So how was that process for you?
It was work. It was work, and yeah, it was work, and it had me beginning to examine every little thing that I do and how I responded. For somebody who's very, very like out there and anything goes, it was a bit challenging, but yeah, but it's part of why I was there, and I found the build up to be very, very interesting. But it wasn't just about the build up. I also met some interesting people. So it wasn't just about the learning from yourself as a facilitator, but KB, there was also another lady who told me that she had lived some past life and she thought she had turned up here. Interesting people. And yeah, so it was also the whole dynamic of the group.
Okay.
Being able to share and yeah, and doing it together, being able to do it with a group. Yeah.
Healing in community is what we call it. Healing in community.
Yeah, I think if it's had one-on-one, it might have been a bit too hard.
Yes.
But I enjoyed the healing, the community, and they're going to the chat rooms and meeting people from all over the world and understanding that we all have the same shared experiences in different types of ways.
Beautiful. Right.
Yeah, but what was uncanny was that everybody I met somehow had a link. Like KB and I are like, just like, she's like the white version of me. Yeah, so it wasn't just about, I was like really, really uncanny, like the girl I talked about. And then all the ones that joined. And I think part of, the way we came in late, the way we all played a part. If I'd had like a month before to really recruit and meet with the people and discuss with them and blah, 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 the selection would have been better. But you live and learn. And there's also another, there's a future coming up. So, and I think what I really would like to see and what I got from it was to be able to, like I said, get funding and get a group, sponsor a group of African women who can tailor something to them. Because there are specific ways as well that some of these girls, especially the rural ones, understand stuff. So just, yeah.
Okay.
Or you come over.
I love that. I love that. I cannot wait to land on the continent and feel the land and feel the energy. I'm for it. I'm for it. Okay, let's call that in. Let's call that in.
Amen.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, last part. Now let's talk about integration, which is the most critical element of the program, where we integrate you, right, from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. The reason why we do that is because you need to remember in order to heal, right? We can't clean a window if the window is all blackened out. We can't see where the spots are. We can't see where we need to clean. So in linking you to your subconscious mind, what comes with that, not just your inner child or children that show up with integration, but also they bring with them all of those hidden memories that you need to be able to go through and reprocess, because our brains operate beautifully. They are able to heal themselves through a process called neuroplasticity. So we're looking at the epigenetics, right? What you've inherited, your lived experience, and also your DNA. So you're able to rewrite your DNA, you're able to change your thinking, you're able to unplug the things that are unhealthy and plug in now new strategies, new skills, new abilities, and new ways of coping. Right? Instead of defense mechanisms, we have proactive ways to avoid conflict, issues, etc. Right? So all of that happens with integration. So first we had integration. How was that process for you?
It was very, very, it was very, very strange in the fact that I expected it to be very heavy spiritually and very airy-fairy out there. And it was actually very normal. So that's a weird one. And I think, so it didn't take me out of anything. It didn't, when even my inner children showed up, it wasn't, for some reason, mine don't seem to be nice little fluffy people. They just seem to be people who just want to tell me something.
They're like you. They're like you. They're to the point. I don't know why you expected them to show up and be somebody else. They're you, baby. They're little you.
Oh, I see. And so
they're not foreign people, okay? They're you.
And so that was really powerful. And the way they communicated, very matter-of-factly, and began to reveal themselves and show, the first ones that showed up, like one has turned up the last 2 days.
Ooh, you're still integrating. You're still, okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so I found that out, and I found that actually this is the beginning of maybe a long journey. So you know how I said at the beginning I didn't feel anything. 2 days ago I was just crying, and I was crying and things are hitting me, and I think it's awesome. So for me, it's been a very pleasurable experience. But what it did for me was to really give me a very clear direction about who I should be, and the process. It didn't exactly tell me that you should do this, but that I had to undergo a certain process and deal with whatever came up so that I could become the woman that God wanted me to be. And the outcome of that, unlike other things where you go and it's like, oh yeah, you feel everything. It's also been very, very, I cannot tell you the amount of what people will call miracles, like things I've been waiting for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Like I was like, have I got some new angels or something that have been dispatched? They're very active, because everything I've been waiting for has sort of like, accelerated. So it's been a very good balance of reality. And I told you about my diet.
Yes, tell us a little bit about that. Share a little bit about that, because it sounds like what happened with integration for you is you are reclaiming more of your true self and what you ultimately ideally want for your most authentic self?
I totally agree. So I've always felt like I should be a vegetarian, and I've always not wanted to eat meat, but I had this addiction to meat because of just not knowing how to, not just cook it, but just cook healthily, but just not having that self-love of exploring and discovering. And I wanted to be a vegetarian so I could lose weight, but also I just like the whole thing of healthy eating. Right?
Let's pause. I heard a phrase right there.
Yeah.
That you were doing things that really weren't an act of self-love. And you had this immediate contrast and said, why am I doing this? I'm not doing this anymore. That's not loving on me. Okay.
Yes, especially because it's linked to, I have PCOS.
PCOS.
Yeah. And so for that, I need to lose weight in order to be able to conceive, in order to be able to be my authentic weight and physical self.
Okay.
So yeah, so the weight loss was not just like a desire, I just want to lose weight, but actually it's actually linked to my innermost being and my ability to produce and have a child and all those things. So it's been very healing. And what I found,
say it again, it's been very healing.
Yeah, what I found was it's just like I did try chicken wings yesterday, and I just can't stand anything that's dead.
Okay, you want to eat live food, nourishing, densely rich food.
I don't have a freezer of dead stuff, and I think I can try a little bit of white meat, but no, the food, and it's not been a struggle. It's not. I don't even think about it.
Beautiful.
I thank God for that.
Beautiful. That is absolutely wonderful. Has it helped you to improve relationships with others because you're improving your relationship with yourself?
Yes. My basic personality has, I can be very dismissive because, you're a leader, you're trying to get this, that, and the other, but I'm listening more. But what is important, I'm listening to myself more. And because I'm listening to myself more and having more compassion for myself, I'm able to extend that to others. Yeah, and what is funny is that I enjoy it. I enjoy being more compassionate, and not just compassionate in terms of what I do is very compassionate in terms of the bigger picture, but that actual everyday, really enjoying people, really listening, really spending time with people, even with the women that I work with, etc., etc. As opposed to maybe this is a vision that I have, I'm supposed to be implementing it, we're supposed to be doing this, so we do, I think my heart is engaged fully.
Oh, your heart is engaged now fully with your work. Now let's pause here and tell us a little bit about your work. You are a leader of an organization. What does your organization do for your community?
So we work with women in sexual and gender-based violence, and I feel that's the call on my life, to see the end of sexual and gender-based violence. But of course, at certain levels, so you have the advocacy level, you have the livelihoods level, you have the psychosocial support, and that's where you come in level. You have, so it's a whole part of a vision called Championing Over Violence, which I actually got from you.
Yes, that's our phrase.
Yeah, I need to send it to you. It's based geared at the northern parts of African countries. It doesn't mean that the southern parts are another thing, but that's where it's the most extreme. That's where you have extremism and you have tribes that are extreme and patriarchy, etc. So all the northern zones of African countries are very similar, and the women are suffering a lot. Part of it is because the colonialists didn't get to those places. They sort of stayed closer to the towns that had ports. So those places are like 50 or 100 years behind in terms of development, in terms of attitude and stuff like that. And so they all have the same thing. So yes, it's a campaign geared at that part of the, it has policy, radio campaign, everything, entrepreneurship skill up, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, so that's what I'm running with for the next 5 years. But different people can fund different aspects of it. So, and so we get a big, like $10 million to be able to, you can still do like the entrepreneurship, the psychosocial support, aspects of it. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for the work that you do in the world, that you're doing on the continent. And I love that the work that you're doing, it sounds like it has a more holistic approach. So many times I find people that work in social impact organizations, they work with very small segments of a person's life for a finite amount of time. And what we have learned working in mental health and psychology is unless you consider the whole person and and make sure you don't decontextualize them and their experience from their whole life, right? You got to look at the whole life. That's why when you all came in, we did all of those psychological assessments because we needed to know you, the whole person, right? Not just somebody who's interested in a program, but we need to know who you are in order to help you in the best way possible. So you are doing that through your organization.
Yeah, and I think what is excellent about this and this course, stuff like that, and what you just said is that I actually moved physically to the village. So I live in a village with women, which normally people don't do. And so as I began to take this course and as I began to get more compassionate and things like that, I actually found, so first it was like, okay, you're here, but you got to find money, blah, blah, blah. So that was always top of the, writing proposals, getting up, going to execute this and that. But what happened with me during this course is to actually transform with the women that I live with and the communities and the societies. So I transform with them. And then in the process of transforming with them and listening more and becoming more compassionate and things like that, I actually found that money began to gravitate.
See how that works? See how that works? Beautiful.
Yeah. So by the end of this year, we're going to be good.
Fantastic. I am thrilled to hear that. We don't want to take any more of your time. We know you're a very busy lady. I did a lot, just half an hour to check in with you to see how it's going for you. We know the work you're doing is very important. We appreciate you being here with us. We look forward to alliances using our Championing Over Violence program and using our RE-WilDing, A Journey Back to You Mastermind. We cannot wait to bring it to the continent.
I know, right?
Whatever changes we need to make to tweak it to make sure it's culturally appropriate and informed, not decontextualized from the continental experience. We can do that.
Yeah. And before you go, I wanted to say that above all, I've really learned that violence of any kind, and we know there's levels of it. So, as long as it exists, your productivity as a woman, as a community, as a people is stifled.
That's a quote. As long as violence exists, your productivity, and I will say your capacity and ability to achieve your highest potential, yes, will be inhibited. I completely 1,000,000% agree. That's why the Women's Institute for Trauma Survivors International was established with the mandate to allow you to become completely free in mind, body, and spirit. Thank you so much for your time, Anatu. And we are done with your interview. Thank you so much.